Hi, I'm David Chalk, and I want to welcome you to this video on cyber protection. Now, before you shut it off, I think you'll find this video very different to any others that you've seen before. You see, I'm not trying to really sell you anything. I'm trying to show you a new technology that's coming to the market that'll give you a really good insight when friends ask you about what is a cyber attack or cyber intrusion. And at the same time, you'll realize that there is a way to solve that problem. So the first thing you need to know is that all cellular mobile devices are 100% hackable. Now, when we think about that, we go, well, no one's hacked me. Well, they haven't wanted to. And when you do get hacked, it's usually not an individual hack. Someone goes around with a scanning device and reads all the phones at one time, or you get picked up on a scanner somewhere, and out of your phone they will read possibly your credit card number, your password to your office, anything that is in that phone. Secondly, they can go through your phone up to your office. You wouldn't even know it's happening. But how about this? They can turn on your camera and your microphone no matter where you are. So you're at home having a nice evening and you think, everything's good, so I'll talk about anything I want. Well, next thing you know, whatever you've said is up on YouTube. Now that doesn't happen very often because we really don't look at hacking into phones for that reason. What the hackers really want is your money and your connections and all the places you've contacted. It will give them all the Wi-Fi access points you use and all your passwords, so just realize it's all there. You are at 100% risk. So how in this day and age of computers could that be possible? Well, it goes back nearly 50 years. Computers weren't designed to be protected because they were standalone, meaning one computer at a time. And then in the 1950s, DARPA, D-A-R-P-A, it's one of the leading government divisions that looks after the development of the most sophisticated equipment. And you'll hear more about them in my talk in just a minute. But they actually, for the most part, invented the internet, the connectivity, the interconnection of all the computers. They wanted to put computers and universities and all the powerful computers together in the Cold War. In case any of them got damaged, they could share information around. And most people then will say we're good Samaritans and nobody thought about anyone getting in and hacking it. But when we went wireless, we said all the barriers are gone and the front door is open. And all of us now are happy having a wireless device. Did you know there's more than 4 billion on the planet right now? And that'll double to 8 billion by next year. So every one of those can be hacked at any time. Now, I also want to say in going through this, I'm trying to be very open, very transparent, and very clear to you on everything. Because when you start with a revolutionary technology that I'm going to show you, the first thing people say is, it can't be true, it's too good to be true. But it has to come from somewhere. And what you're looking at is the genesis of a new breakthrough in technology. And you know, one of my favorite people is Einstein. And one of his quotes was, when you're solving an incredibly complex problem, if you've really solved it correctly, the solution will be so simple and beautiful that people won't believe it's true. And that's what I'm going to show you today, because for those of you that have heard about Enigma, many of you say it can't be true. It's too good to be true. But it's not. And I'll show you why one of the reasons that happens. Harvard professor, very famous one, Clay Christensen, wrote a book called The Innovator's Dilemma. And in there, he showed many different industries, all of them doing very well, and then being intruded on by the outside. Meaning the industry's doing well, they don't want to change, just like we've got enough software protection to look after our computers, we're not going to upset the apple cart today. But what he proved was, in every situation of a giant turnover in any industry, what he called disruptive technology, the new player comes in from the outside, everyone says, that's not going to work, where'd you come from, how'd you get that? And then before you know it, they're in, and they've taken control of the market. Jeffrey Bezos had never sold a book before, and when eBay was created for auctions, he had never auctioned anything before. He just wanted to get rid of junk in his garage, but these are now two of the most powerful companies in the world. People could have looked at them and said, well, where are you coming from? Understand that disruptive technology means it's going to come in the technological age and swoop down and change everything. So we've got a situation right now where all security for all computers is done the same way. That is, the computer does its stuff, software and other devices look at what happened, and then they go in and they investigate and find out what was wrong. And that's why you hear the term, you've got a virus, because they got it after the fact. But that's not protection. That's only looking out for maybe stopping it next time. What we need is true protection, and the only way that's going to happen is if we catch it in the act. And there is no technology that can do that today. So this is where Enigma comes in. Enigma is using a language called Rapide that was initially created at Stanford University and then developed up into a very, very hybrid language called DZ Shield. Now that is a proprietary language and we have the ability to use it. Now people might say is, well, how do you know what you're going to build with this new language is going to work? And the way I like to say it most often is think of a 747 that Boeing built. Beautiful plane, works really well. Someone comes along and says, we need a smaller one. You think Boeing is going to say, whoa, we don't know if the smaller one will work. But no, they've got all the technology. They're just going to scale it down and build something smaller. That's exactly what Enigma is. We're going from the interconnected world of wires down to a wireless connection. And that's why this new technology is going to be developed. But in the corporate world, what we call enterprise, that protection is already available. Of course, some people there are still having a difficult time believing it, but it is absolutely true. See, also what Clay Christensen said, or what he got across to people, is that when you want to develop something totally new, you can't come at it from an academic or a normal paradigm. You have to be over there. You have to look at it a different way. And what that requires, first off, is ingenious thoughts on the subject. It requires heavy creativity, deep insight into it, and most importantly, resource ability to tie all that together to create something new. So if today you wanted to be sure that your wireless device is completely safe, you have no hope of doing it. But now let me tell you, before you say this is too good to be true, because I know most of you are saying that, and I'm hoping you're going to stay with me right now, and I'm not trying to make this lighthearted, but we have to get real here. We really do have to look at the problem. So in that investigation, when the language was created, deep thought and creativity had to go in to say, why isn't everything working today? And the solution came out this way, that every computer has something trying to block right now. That's what we try and do. We try and block things from getting in, password or whatever that is through a firewall. What we really need to be is on the inside watching how something works. And if we watch how it works, if it starts to act up, well, then we stop it. Now, the human existence has only lasted for as many million years as it has because of one thing, the body's ability to auto-correct. It's called our immune system or our repair system. Break an arm, it'll be fixed. I didn't have to go get someone to do it. I was reading recently that multiple sclerosis is present in 80% of the population. But our systems internally keep it at bay. Most of us carry every type of cancer there is, but our homeostasis system inside of us keeps everything in check and self-corrects. When something goes haywire, we lose. So if we often compare computers to people, why won't the solution possibly be there too, that we say, okay, if we're going to fix the computer problem, it's going to have to know what's going wrong. So it was done. Now, you say, well, how do we know that that's really the thing that has to be done? Well, remember a few minutes ago I told you about DARPA, D-A-R-P-A. You can look them up. You can go to their website. And they have a challenge on to the whole world right now. And get this. Here's the challenge. DARPA is looking for a company to develop or come forward with the world's first self-healing software. Now, I just said that self-healing is what it must be. And the next line it says, because this is what cybersecurity requires. So now let's just take a step back and look at all the companies out there that make the antiviruses and the big corporate file servers and the actual technology that is used to block everything. Well, DARPA knows a little secret that not all of you know. There's nothing out there because they've put it up on a billboard now and said, please help us find self-correcting software. Well, the next thing we look at Enigma is, one, DARPA has said it must be self-healing. Two, the language we're using is self-healing, the first one of its type, and it's been patented that way. You can go to the U.S. Patent Office and read it. This isn't one of those, well, maybe we'll just develop something. This is the truth. That patent, in essence, says that only the language that is being used to write Enigma is allowed to be developed, or is the only language there is that can be used to watch another computer and let it self-heal. So first, we've got DARPA saying that that's the only way you'll ever solve the cyber problem. Secondly, there's a patent on it saying it is that, and that's exactly what it does. And then to top it off, you need to test it. So this language was taken into the IBM research labs for 18 months, and through 2 different studies, it came out absolutely blemish-free. Every single test that was thrown at it, every single possibility, every intrusion, any possible cyber attack, it thwarted them all. So this is that time when I say to people, if you're still in doubt, then I don't think I can ever convince you. But if you want to look at a possibility of what might change the world, you're looking at it right now, because these next couple videos that I'm going to show you on the other pages, they'll give you a lot more depth to it. But the most important thing to understand is it is done. And all that is being done with Enigma is taking it from the hardwired world and putting it down to the mobile device, which is what we really need. I'm going to talk to you about how it works. Any of you out there that are accountants or in any sort of administrative role know what an audit is. You do all your work and you go back through later and you audit it to see if it was done right. Well, if you want one more buzzword, what I told you before was self-healing, like the body. It's the only reason we can continue to live. The other word is live audit. So, if all the work that was being done in any organization was every single bit of it was being live audited, you'd never audit after the fact. It would be done live. Once again, self-healing brings about that ability. You know, there are many companies, in fact, there's thousands of companies out there that make cyber protection technologies. And again, I'm not going to be able to convince you that this is the absolute only one there is, although it is, because that's what a patent is for. What I want you to understand is we are looking for partners to help us grow and make investments in this company. I think the most important thing is I've got 25 years in the technology. I've got an honorary doctorate degree in technology. We have some of the most brilliant minds in the world, and it's been tested by some of the most brilliant minds in the world. You have to let go of your preconceived notion, one, that no one can do this unless they're the best. Well, come on forward. I said, anyone out there that has a technology, you got 2 places to go. First, take it to DARPA, and they'll be really happy because you've just solved the cyber problem. And then secondly, bring it to us, and we'll prove you haven't. But we've never had anyone come forward and say that to us. No one, not even the big players out there in the game. We have a solution for cyber intrusion. It is being built, and funding we are looking for is to keep that process going. I hope you realize and understand that your future, your children's future, the safety of your information that can all be lost, your digital fingerprint that can be stolen, your privacy that can go disappear through your camera or your microphone in your phone, and in fact, your whole digital footprint can be taken in just a second. And the average estimate is 3 to 5 years to get it back again. I don't think any of us want that. Let's not play around with these computers and say, well, somebody else could have come up with it. We know one of the biggest studies in the world said it'll have to come from the outside. Then we realized it had to be self-healing. Then we realized it needed to be tested. All of that's been done. All that we're looking to do is bring it to the world so that the iPhones, the Android devices, and the BlackBerry devices, and the mobile devices of the world can be secure and trusted. I hope you'll stay with me to look at the next videos if you just click on the button down the side there, and you'll see a little bit more in-depth. And of course, I'm available, and there'll be contact names on the website that'll give you information about how you can get anything you need. If there's one word about this, complete transparency, and you'll see the solution that can save computers from cyber attacks.